Last time on the Port Nicholson experience?
We hadn't been out to the wreck since last fall. It was the last time we went out.
A rare March weather window spurred the crew of the Sea Hunter to action. After the difficult task of checking the anchoring buoy and dropping the 20,000-pound stern anchor, the crew began making necessary preparations to begin ROV exploration. As they waited for the correct tides, spirits were up, and the crew was hopeful that this trip would provide them with needed footage of the cargo bay of the Port Nicholson. The $4 billion payout awaits them on the ocean floor. Will this be the trip that changes their lives?
You wait for slack water when the tide's between high tide and low tide. When it's switching, the current's going to go in a different direction, obviously. Just like if you were in a harbor and the tide comes in, the current's coming into the harbor. Same thing going out at low tide. It happens on a much larger scale in the middle of the ocean, but the same way. And it creates, it takes 6 hours, so about 3 hours into it, it's moving the fastest, and it's moving the slowest when it gets to the ebb water, or right between that golden hour between low and high.
With the correct tide rapidly approaching, the crew prepares the larger Mark V and the much smaller video ray ROVs for launch. Months of preparation and testing of the new tether cord launch system have all come down to this. Upon the ROV hitting the water, the tether begins to spill out of the launch system, and a solution must be improvised before they can continue.
We have badminton rackets, the faces of them, one on the top and one on the bottom. The bottom one has a weight so it falls away down. The top one has a float on it and it floats up. So it opens up by itself when you let go of the string. It's all very simple, but it works awesome.
With the new covers on the launch system, the crew returns the ROV to the sea, the dilemma resolved. But upon hitting the water, an even bigger problem arises.
Each of the thruster ones, when the goop goes up, then we'll move to the bottle, goes up, go get the goop.
The crew scrambles to assess what could potentially be a fatal electrical issue for the larger Mark V ROV. Multiple launch attempts prove fruitless, and the alarms continue to sound.
Well, we're having an issue with LIM alarms, and LIM alarms are what they call line insulation monitor. And basically it monitors continuity on both the positive and the negative side of the AC and DC.
Morale begins to sink. A restless night fades into an early morning. Engineers Brian and Eddie continue their hunt for the source of the malfunction.
Trying to find a short. We have a short in the DC, or what we would consider like a ground fault in the high voltage DC line. And the minute you put it in the water, you get a limb alarm.
Numerous attempts only end in failure. Spirits begin to waver.
I spent the majority of my time inside the vehicle, so every time we had a problem, I'd pull it out, pull it apart, try to diagnose it, try to repair it, get it back together, try it again, and it's just a constant problem. You fix it, and you get down in the water and it may work fine for a few hours and then it's broken again. I mean, the general rule of thumb for ROVs in the working area is 50% rule. It's 50% it's broken.
The crucial Mark V ROV will likely not function on this trip.
I was thinking about it. You know, we're going to have to head back to the dock because this damn ROV quit working again after we did everything humanly possible to make it work. And here we are sitting out there in the middle of the ocean, bobbing around, and our ship is, 650 feet below us and can't do anything. Well, after I chopped off some heads and stuff, then I started thinking, okay, what can we really do? We're here. We can't just pull the anchor and go home.
The crew springs to action.
We had to invent a way to get the small ROV down there. The current runs so hard down there that you can't just send it down by itself. It can't swim down there. So you have to attach it to a weight. And Kevin needed 195 feet of cord, an umbilical cord, to accomplish the mission. So we have to figure a way to package that up and send it down.
This takes
One cord.
This takes 60 seconds to solve a 20-minute problem.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
Definition: mundane, tedious, self-explanatory.
Something to deploy the umbilical with without making a mess. The small cable here is the video rig. This is the Mark V thicker cable. The umbilical. So we have to unmarry it together and just solidify the smaller ROV down by itself.
Determined to make the most of this trip, the crew cobbles together a new launch system for the smaller video array ROV. The crew's improvisational prowess is again shown as the complicated launch system is created out of spare parts found around the ship.
The big ROV didn't work, so we had to improvise with something else. The shotgun wouldn't really work down there, so we got a bigger piece of storage tube and we coiled all the umbilical into it, and the ROV fit in the end of it to hold it in. We attached that to the clump weight, and we were in such good position over the wreck. When we lowered it down, it was right over the cargo bay.
With the help of the clump weight, the video ray begins its descent to the wreck below. Upon landing, the bottom of the sea appears barren and desolate. The increasing presence of sea life indicates that the wreck is quickly approaching.
There she is. Nice. Good job, man. Great job.
Cord's trailing off to my west, so when I climb, it's probably up on top of the engine and rolled me over. The current's working right down the side of this. Now the current is 90 degrees different than the surface.
Yeah. We always suspected there was 3 different currents running down here.
Well, that's an issue because it's causing. I really expect to be in the shadow of a tide on this run. So in reality, the next tide coming up will be a lot better. But let's see if we can. Let's make another. Let's try to climb again. See what we get.
Kevin gives it his best shot. But having missed the optimal tide, the video ray is at the whim of deep-sea currents, causing unforeseen problems.
Jesus Christ, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Can you tell me how the hell that happened in the middle of wide open water?
Just the turns in the cable. Or 100, whatever there were.
It's not tangled on anything.
Where is it? What's that?
That's the end of it. It's wide open water.
That's why you can't go anywhere, because it's a rat's nest.
Yeah, I've got to the height of the altitude. This has to come up by cable. I can get to 600 feet.
You just can't tow it.
All right, just be sure it's not tangled on anything, but I don't see it tangled on anything. This current has just turned it into a ball, I guess. Well, let's continue this way. Video Ray is a lot smaller RV. It's only 18 inches. It also is an inspection class. It is designed to go down to 1,000 feet, but she is so light, and her engines are a 10th, not even a 10th, a 20th of the power of the Mark V, and she gets subjected to the currents, and it's just something that's not even controllable over, say, 1.5 to 2 knots of current, which we experience sometimes 3 or 4 down there.
The tether team pulls the video ray out of the water. Despite many setbacks, the crew now knows the small ROV is capable of making the journey. They are determined not to let these obstacles stop them in their search for glory. Now, they will reset the launch system and wait for the golden hour of slack tide. While many would have packed up and gone home, the crew of the MV Sea Hunter is not worried. They know that nothing will stop them from obtaining their $4 billion prize.
This mission we're getting ready for could be a make or break thing.
At that point in time, I was running out of options as far as to how to repair it.
And the rest was in survival mode, just trying to escape the wreck.